So I'm here standing on the roof of Michael Bessette. It is, make sure of the date. It's December 13th, so we're about 2 months after the storm. He's got a coverage decision from his insurance company that is only paying for not a whole roof replacement, only a repair. And upon inspecting the roof for myself, I don't see any completely missing shingles. But I do see the old marks from the original adjuster who came out here. It's been a couple of months, so I could tell it was chalked up. It's got diagonal chalk lines in many places throughout the roof. And I think he's illustrating that there is lift in these areas, and these shingles are damaged. You can see that it comes up. So I see everywhere that there's a line. These are lifted shingles. There's certainly granular loss, but I want to walk and I want to kind of, even though they're very faint within this video, I want to do my best to see all the marks that adjuster made and kind of count them off. So you can see I'm standing. You get a compass so we can know which direction that we're looking. South, west this way, north off the back where the pool cage is. You can see the damaged pool cage. North, west, south, and east. So I'm standing on the southeast, a smaller slope. And I'll just see how many of these things I can count and how many shingles are lifted, and we'll have some kind of damage from that lift as notated by the original field adjuster. So here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. See, that one lifts as well. The one next to, he didn't put a mark on it, but the one next to it lifts. Didn't put a mark there, it lifts. If you see, I'm just using one finger very lightly. That one does not lift. That one does. There's no mark on it. As we get closer to the one, that one lifts. That one lifts. That one lifts. He's got a mark on it. Let's just try some area over here. It's closer to the edge. Just want to grab a random. That lifts. Just barely, even with my fingertip. That one doesn't. That one does. That one lifts. That one lifts. He's got no marks on those, but see, that one lifts. That one lifts. This one lifts. I can see it's going to lift. It's even moving by the one. It moves the one above it. So this whole slope, there's very few that haven't lifted. So all of these shingles were kind of flapping in the wind during the storm. Our initial field adjuster has some markings on it. In some places he has up at the top. Can't really see it on this one. He writes in some things. Let's slide over to this next slope. Coming over that southeast corner, this is a much larger slope. Got one pipe jack on it. Just want to reach down and take a look. It lifts. No mark. Another random one. Look, it lifts. No mark. Up through here, let's see. Look, these shingles just lift. Here's a mark. That's a chalk line from the adjuster. This one definitely lifts. So there were like 4 marks on the other slope. So far we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, See if I'm missing any. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 marks over here. You can see this corner is just up. Maybe there's something stuck underneath of it. There's a stick underneath of it. Pull this one up. Look, there's that one ripped right through the nail. See the nail head? It ripped right through the nail. So at least 30 over here. Let's see if I see any more. There's no markings over here, but let's just see if they lift. Yeah, look, it lifts. Let's try another random one over here. Does it lift? That one's pretty solid right there. That does not lift. That lifts. That's pretty solid, but that corner lifts. You can kind of see right up here, there's an example. Hard to make out, but there's chalk lines that he wrote. Maybe front slope. I can't make out what he wrote, but you know, it'll be in his field photos, it'll be there. That's why he makes those marks. And then he's, you know, counts whatever he specifically saw. You can tell by all of those marks of what he saw. But, you know, for example, there's 3 shingles right here that have a mark. 1, 2, 3. So I'm sure he saw it. It should lift. Right? That's what he noticed. That lifts. That lifts. Well, there's no mark on the one above it. Let's see if it lifts. Well, sure it does. How about this one? Well, sure it does. And look, the next one's already moving. So he's got no marks on these, but they're lifted and they're moving, right? And normally that little, you can see right in there, this right here is like an asphalt. That's kind of like the glue where they put them down and they put one here, and then there's like a little adhesive right there. So when the next one touches it, it adheres so they don't lift. Like over there, when I tried to lift it, it did not lift. But in these other areas, there's no much, they've been lifted from that storm and they will not adhere anymore. So they just flap in the wind. Things get stuck under them, like here. All right, let's move over to this next. This is kind of like the east slope, moving farther to the west side of the roof. Another pipe track. And let's see if we can see some of his marks. So he's got a mark here, and an old mark here, 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 here. So just right in this area, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See if I see any others over here. I see 9 marks. So I'm sure all of these are going to have the lift. Kind of work backwards from them. Yeah, see, just a little bit. They lift. They're not getting back on because it's that adhesive is just full of, you know, material that wouldn't otherwise have been in there had the storm not lifted. Right? So all of these will lift. And as I move down the rest of this little slope, let's see if I see. Okay. Here's a couple more marks. 1, 2, 3. 3 there. I'm certain they all lift. I mean, this one has a stick wedged underneath of it. See that? Okay. Over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more, all in a row. So these should all probably just very easily. Look at how easy. And even the one above it keeps on lifting, even though he doesn't have marks on them. See? Keeps on lifting. He doesn't have marks on them, but they keep lifting. Maybe they should have had marks on them. Let's see if any are adhered. Nope, that lifts. See, this one's adhered. So this one didn't lift. See, I can't with the one finger, even when I put more pressure on, it will not come up. But see, this one will not come up, but so many others do come up. Oh, here's some more over here. And then this is where he would have put his marks on this slope, right? So he's going slope by slope and he's counting and he's trying to make a note for himself and a note for the desk adjuster of how many shingles are damaged from this storm. So let's move over onto the full south slope. Here's something that looks like here's an impact. Here's something that hit. I'll zoom in. See, something came across and hit that. Comes up a little bit. Let's see if I see any of his chalk line marks. I don't see any chalk line marks. I see maybe there was an impact here and here and here. Definitely granular loss, and I don't see up in this top corner that he made any count. But interestingly enough, so that's where we started over there. And when that hurricane came through, you can see that there's trees around. And very interestingly, we can tell that there was quite a storm. Here's a big tree. I'm on the roof, right here, on this person's roof. And right next door, there is still a tree down from the storm, hasn't been cleaned off. It's just resting, it's sitting on that person's roof. So we certainly have the winds to cause these kind of damage in this area. Now we're on to the full west slope. Some granular loss. See if I see any of the adjusters' marks, or, you know, sometimes they just mark a few places and they, you know, kind of like they go, I've seen enough. And then they just say this roof needs to be replaced. I don't think that's what happened here. Here's some marks here. 1, 2. I saw another one very faint here. 3. And look at how they lift right up. No marks on this one, but it lifts. This lifts. Let's see if this one has a mark. It lifts. Yeah, so the field adjuster was out here doing a good job. Everywhere that I've seen a mark